Welcome to the Frederica Academy Nights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick. Brought to you by St. Simon Seafood, Jenkins Nissan, the Emerald Princess, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, and by Catch 228. Now here is the voice of the Frederica Academy Nights, John Wetzler.
Welcome to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick at the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island, where we will be here each and every week on Thursday nights at 6:30 for the entire football season. We got a good crowd out here. This is a segment. This segment of the Coach Brandon Derrick Show is sponsored by the Emerald Princess, by Apple Care Immediate Care, by St. Simon Seafood, by Misty's Element Massage, by Jenkins Nissan, and Catch 228. And now joining us is head coach of the Frederica Academy Nights, Brandon Derrick. Hello, Coach. How are you?
Doing well.
Well, Coach, just want to talk a little bit about, last year, I was there throughout the season, watched every game. We had some really exciting football. We played, of course, in the GISA Division I. So this year we're moving up to the highest level of classification in the GISA Division III, right?
Yes.
So how is that going as far as just getting prepared for these teams? What's the difference between Division I and Division III? What can we look for in terms of differences?
You're going to find in Division III, it's going to be more of a numbers game. Checking rosters, Tipped area's got about 35. Valwood's got about 40. So when you start moving up, it becomes a numbers game. It's going to be depth. For us, we're standing at 23. So we're going to be playing a lot of Ironman football against a bunch of teams that have some depth, that have 30 to 35, some 40 kids on a roster.
Yeah, I wrote an article about it. It reminds me of the movie 300, where the point wasn't how many you got. You got to have guys that are ready to go. And so I know my son is in 8th grade. He's been out there with you guys all summer, and you guys been working hard. I mean, you guys got to work harder when you're playing Ironman football to compete in 90-degree weather through August into September. What kind of things are you guys doing to be prepared to not only be ready to play like everybody else, but be ready to go both ways?
Well, we introduced a few things to them. We got a brand new facility built, weight room. It's outstanding. If you haven't seen it and you're out there listening, you might want to swing by and check it out at Frederica. It's a beautiful complex. Another thing that we introduced to the kids, they love it. I call it a day at the beach. We go run in a sand pit that's about 35 yards long, and it's 12 inches deep in sand, and we do all of our agilities and all of our sprints. That when I'm talking about it, the kids most of the time are like, oh gosh, don't put us in the pit. And what it does, it really works on your knees and your ankles, your ligaments, and it's a little bit more of a strain. We try to get in early in the mornings and get our work in between 7 and 9 every morning, and I pretty much require them to be there 28 of the 36 days this summer. We had practically everybody make it. Our kids are going to have to prepare, and I talked to them about that a little bit today, that adrenaline. I saw it yesterday with our middle school team. The adrenaline rush is going to carry you through that first 6-7 minutes, and then your conditioning is going to kick in, and mentally you're going to have to overcome it because you're going to hit that lull, and you've got to figure out a way to come back out of it. And this group here, they've been working hard. I can't say enough about them. We took them to camp at Robert Toombs. I thought they were all going to kill me after that first Monday. I even thought my coaches were going to kill me. But then Thursday, when we got back on the bus, we had accomplished a lot of goals and done a really good job. And these kids have come a long way. They've been working hard. I'm excited. I think they're excited. I'm ready to go play. I mean, they kicked off there a while ago at 6 o'clock, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, and I'm fired up. It's time to go play now.
Yeah, it's football season. It's exciting. Well, this is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Coach, last year you had Max Bourne, you had Sean Tatum, you had a number of other guys that were, you had Marshall Dudley, big Marshall Dudley playing on the line and offense and defense. You had a number of key guys that you're not going to have this year. And you've got some guys with different skill sets that are replacing them. So talk a little bit about how you guys are, I remember you ran a lot of that Apache formation, and you ran the some other name for it.
Cherokee
and Apache, and a lot of option, a lot of misdirection kind of stuff. I mean, and this year, what kind of skill sets you got to work with, and what kind of differences do you think you're going to have to adapt with?
Well, we've been shuffling the offensive line since the second day of camp. Austin went out with a concussion. Then Alex hurt his shoulder. We moved the offensive line 2 or 3 times around. We've settled into what we're going to do with our offensive line going into this Friday, and it'll change a little bit going forward. I think, one, it's going to take us a little time to gel up front. Marshall was a big piece of the blocking and what we would call the road grading crew of moving people out of the way. We went from more of a run first with Max at quarterback to a zone read, quick passing game type set with Nick. Nick's a very smart quarterback. He's going to get us in very good situations right off the bat. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly to people that are open. We've got to adjust as coaches. I've always said, you look at all these great coaches that come in and do this and that, and they say they want to get this and do this. And when you're looking at college, they can recruit what they want to run their offense. For us, we have to build our offense and defense around our skill set. Right now, I would say our strength lies with our defensive front and our linebacking core on defense. Very athletic. They can move. Drew Brunson, Dawson Covington, Austin Skeldon, Will Sandridge, Cameron Atwood, Ty Gardner, Jake Clark, John Mitchell Brock. Those are the 8 guys that's going to be up front. You're going to see us rotating those on that defensive line. And, of course, our linebacking crew is going to be rotated quite a bit, too. Brandon Blake anchors that down at Mike. This is his 3rd year starting at that spot. And when he's healthy, he's good. And so we're going to have 2 freshmen at the other 2 linebackers, which is going to be Cameron McClellan and Rhett Thompson going to be starting there. So, got new blood there, but I feel like they can hold it down. I think tomorrow night we're starting 4 freshmen on defense, and I'm sitting here saying that's going to be our strength right now. So I'm excited about it. I think the kids are. We're going to play our read and react defense, and we're going to play good technique. I've noticed that about our kids. Even when we're at camp, our defense knows where to be and how to get there and make plays.
So is it going to be a 4-3 defense that you guys?
It'll be a multiple 4-3. We'll put 5 men on the line at times. We'll back them off. I do a lot of stuff with our safeties. We do a lot of roll coverages and do a lot of things. I mean, it's no secret to anybody if they watch film. I've got everybody within 7 yards of the box. It doesn't matter if they're fast, slow, or not. We don't. In high school football, it's run first mentality most of the time, and if they're going to throw it, then we're going to make them throw it over our head. If not, we're going to be in the box and go play football with you and try to get after you.
Put the pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, there's more to come with the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, we're just going to take a break for a couple words from our sponsors.
The Emerald Princess Casino is celebrating 25 years with a special $25 gift for you. Wow, 25 years. Celebrate with this special $25 offer on our Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening cruises now through December. Limited $125 value offer per person per cruise. Call for details. For reservations, call 800-842-0115 or visit emeraldprincesscasino.com. Call for offer limitations. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at jenkinsnissanofbrunswick.com.
Get affordable health care when you need it. At Apple Care Immediate Care, our team of compassionate healthcare providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in healthcare. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, Apple Care is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apple Care welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location from Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island. Come out and join us. This segment is brought to you by the Emerald Princess, Jenkins Nissan, and by Apple Care Immediate Care. I just said to come out and join us. We may not be here when people hear this, but come out
next week.
Yeah, come out next week. We're going to be here same time every week, and you can come out here and try some really good food here at Catch 228. Anyway, Coach, we were talking at the break a little bit about the differences between last year's team and this year's team, and you know, when you and I were playing, I talked to you a little bit about we're contemporaries. Kids that weigh 250 pounds were big. I don't know if it's in the Chick-fil-A sandwiches or the milk or what, but nowadays 250 pounds to some people isn't that big anymore, but I still think it's pretty big. And you know, as far as the GISA is concerned, we still got a pretty hefty line in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Talk a little bit about our size and how you think we're going to match up, you know, as far as in the trenches go on the lines, on the offensive and defensive line.
Well, offensively, we're going to be pretty good size. From left to right, Austin Skelton's about 290, 6'4", 290. Preston Simmons probably about 180 at guard. Jake Clark's about 210 at center. Will Sanders is 260 at guard, and Dawson Coven's 240. And then our tight end's Drew Brunson. He's at about 195 to 200 pounds. He's 6'4". And so we're going to be pretty good size up front. We've got some pretty good guys up there that can move. We're going to we put in a few offensive sets to move those guys around and do a few things. So it should be interesting. Our guys, like I said, they are really working right now just to become a unit and to gel a little bit because it's been a struggle with some of the injuries.
And these guys on the line, these big guys, they're participating in all the conditioning drills that everybody else that's expected to play Ironman football is part of. So they're 250, 260, 290 in shape.
Pretty much, yeah. I'll give you a story. Dawson's lost 40 pounds from last year to now. He went from 280 to 240 right now. So he's cut some weight and can move and can play. And I'm excited to see our guys go out and play somebody. Besides the last 2 weeks, we've been hitting each other. So I'm ready to go out and hit somebody else.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this year on the offensive standpoint. You know, you got Nick Harrison at quarterback. From what I've heard from you and seen from Nick, just in watching practice and exhibition games and that sort of thing, you know, he's more of a thinking quarterback. He's certainly athletic, not quite the same speed of a Max Bourne, but certainly athletic and more of a passing quarterback and more of a tactician. So, talk a little bit about how you plan on using Nick this year.
Well, Nick's going to have to get us set up right, and he's got multiple reads on certain plays. There's going to be we could line up and run the same play 5 times in a row, and it may go to 5 different people.
Yeah.
And everybody like, we're running the same thing over and over again. But it's a read offense with him. It's got to be quick. He's got to see it. So Nick's got to make sure that he sees it and can read it quick and get the ball in and out of his hands. He's making the right reads. There's going to be a lot more pressure on him to orchestrate the offense, not create offense. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to run it up in there and break tackles and stuff like that. He's got to delegate. He just got to delegate the ball to people and get it out there and distribute and let these guys make some plays.
And on our running, you know, last year we talked briefly at the beginning about Sean Tatum last year, one of the faster guys, you know, that we played against even. I mean, he was probably one of the fastest guys out there. You know, this year you've got a different skill set. You've got Hollisville. You've got Tyree Tresvant, who's, I guess, questionable with an injury. Tyree's one of the fastest guys out there, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Him and Hollis. Hollis sitting over here from me looking at me. Him and Hollis actually ran the same time in the 40.
Oh, Hollis is checking us on that.
But Hollis he better get ready, like I was telling you earlier in the break. He's going to be utilized a lot in our offense and defense. He's not going to be coming off the field a whole lot. You know,
Hollis is a junior this year, correct?
Yes, Hollis is a junior. And what you're going to see is we're going to have a rotation with a lot of Brandon Blake, Cameron McClellan, Hollisville, Rhett's going to be in the backfield. Rhett Thompson's going to be in the backfield. Also, a lot of the same names I'm saying on defense. As I said, when you've got 22, 23 kids, going to be the same kids rotating on offense. So they have to be mentally tough and focused.
Well, what about the kicking game? Last year we had probably one of the best kicking games in the GISA. Everywhere we went last year in the press box, everybody was talking about our kicker, about how impressive he was. What do you expect to hear about that? Before you answer that question, let me just say you're listening to the Brandon Derrick Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Well, to answer your question, Landon he's going to be hard to replace, but I'll be honest with you, John Mitchell Brock's come a long way, and we laughed about it. He come in, he was really fired up about being the kicker and the punter, but now he's my starting defensive end too, so he's a he's a multi-purpose player. He's going to be the guy that handles most of our kicking duties.
He kicked off last year, didn't he?
Yes, he kicked off last year from the middle school team, and he's come a long way. He's working on it today. He's looked real well, and out there kicking extra points today, he looked very good. I think he was probably good from about 40 with some. So everybody, Landon was probably good from about 55 at times. We're going to have to drive the ball a little bit further in and get it in range, but I have a lot of confidence in him handling those duties. He's doing a good job.
So you guys have a good kicking game this year. You're confident in it, and that gives us just an extra weapon, I guess, to be able to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, the kicking game is going to be very important to us. That is a point of the game, that's a third of the game that can change the momentum of the game. You watch a lot of sports, if somebody runs a kickoff back, a punt back, or something like that, or gets pinned back in there, deep in their territory, it can change the game. I think last week, was it Glenn and Wayne, when the kid punted them back to the one, and all of a sudden they got a safety, and then Glenn, it just turned it on, and they changed the whole outset of the game.
Well, let's talk a little bit about intangible. We probably won't be able to get into it too much. We've only got about a minute left before the break, but I want to start talking about this year's team, the dynamics of the personality of the team this year, the leadership, and how is the team coming together as far as the leadership goes, as far as the confidence goes. What do you see happening this year that you're pleased with this group?
Well, this group here, a unique group of kids. We started out, we were a little worried. We went to camp, and I think we come out of camp going, wow, these guys have grown much, much closer together. One, they had to sleep in a gym on air mattresses for 5 nights. It made us a lot tougher. We had to stay in there and sleep with the enemy. Robert Toombs was on one end of the gym, and we were on the other. And so they made some great friendships there, but they also learned that they had to depend on each other. And I think that's a lot of, that's life lessons. You're going to have to depend on folks, and they've learned to do that, and the leadership's coming.
Well, Coach, with that, I'm just going to say for the moment, we'll be right back with the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Fresh local seafood on St. Simon's Island? St. Simon's Seafood, located at 2463 Demery Road in the shops at Demery Plaza next to Loco's, has everything a seafood lover could want. Wild Georgia shrimp, crab cakes, flounder, you name it, and St. Simon's Seafood has it. Seafood so fresh, it was swimming this morning. So stop into St. Simon's Seafood and check them out on Facebook. St. Simon's Seafood, the island's only fresh seafood market. Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island is your home for the best seafood around. Oysters, shrimp, fish, you name it. Not to mention your island home for NFL Sunday Ticket, Major League Baseball extra innings, college game day, and so much more. Catch 228 is also your home for the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick and a proud Frederica Academy supporter. So stop on in any night of the week for the best time on St. Simon's and find us on Facebook. Go Knights!
Welcome back to the Frederica Academy Knights Coaches Show with head coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm John Wetzler on location at Catch 228 in Redfern Village on St. Simon's Island. This segment is brought to you by Misty's Element Massage and by St. Simon's Seafood. Well, Coach, before the break, we were talking about the leadership this year. What more can you talk about as far as the seniors you got and just the personality of the team as it's coming together before the season starts?
Our leadership's developed from the top down. I've seen our seniors, Brandon Blake and Drew Brunson and those guys taking it by the reins. Some of our juniors have really jumped in there. Dawson's very vocal. Alex Hicks, who's been injured, but is very vocal. And a lot of times, it's not so much as being vocal and wanting to lead by what you say as you lead by your actions. You show up, you set an example, and you're there, and you do your stuff, and you're always working. It's one thing to yell at somebody if they do something wrong, but you got to be there to prove every day that you're committed to what you're doing. And I'm seeing a lot of that take place with our kids, and they rely on each other. I wouldn't say that we have one guy that stands above and holds everybody accountable, but right now, what I'm seeing is everybody's holding everybody accountable, and that's very important in a program with us because, hey, it's like you tell them we're going to go down the alley, and there's not going to be many of us, and you got to be ready to scale the wall.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to scale the wall. It don't matter how big you are, how small you are. You can ask the middle school kids yesterday. I mean, we rolled out there with 22 yesterday, and the other team had 40.
Yeah.
And they battled and battled and battled, and they just kept. They didn't care. The sixth graders didn't care that they had to run in there and play all seventh and eighth graders. They just ran in there and took some shots. And I think you're going to see that out of our older group there. It doesn't matter who we put in. They're going to try to scale the wall and make plays and do what they've been coached to do. And I see them holding each other accountable. This group's come together a lot more than what I expected. Last year, I didn't feel that camaraderie. This year, I feel that a whole lot with them. We've done a lot of team-building things. We went swimming together. We've been in the movies together. We've done all kinds of stuff. We've been to camp together. And it's made us a lot better.
Yeah. Negativity kind of breeds just as well as good leadership, positive, belief that first of all you got to believe you can win before you can win, And it seems like we've got everybody understanding that if you do your job, you can win.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to do any more. Just do your role. Now there's going to be times that we're going to ask you probably to step above and beyond for some guys, but don't do any more than what we ask you to do, and be committed to the cause, 100%. That's all we ask our kids. Our slogan this year is pretty much attitude and effort. Give us great attitude and give us great effort, and I promise we're going to get some good results out of it at the end of the day. And so far, I can't complain about our kids. I mean, they've had to battle the heat. A couple weeks ago, the heat was unbearable. I mean, it's 100-something, 111-degree heat index, and they're out there working and going through it. When you've got 45 all together, upper school, middle school, and they're all out there sweating together and battling together and picking each other up. It's a battle, mentally and physically. They've done a really good job.
Yeah, and that's, I can remember as a player and the coaching kids that, that's the only thing you have control over all the time is your attitude and your effort. And those are the only things I ever get upset about, quite frankly. I mean, I can deal with mistakes, and it sounds like you've got them understanding that, that you've got 100% control of your attitude. That's about it. You don't have control over whether somebody makes a mistake or what the other team's talent is or any of that stuff.
You're exactly right. It's you control what you can do, and just go out there and do your job.
Well, this is the Frederica Academy Coaches Show with Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Let's talk a little bit, Coach, in the last minutes about you've had some of these exhibition games. Y'all had a jamboree, went up to Hilton Head and played a bunch of football up there a couple weeks ago. Before that, you went to Robert Toombs Academy and played them just about every day against a very good team, and had a chance to really see how we're matching up against good football teams. So what did you learn from that?
Well, from the assessment we took from Robert Toombs was we were putting it together when we showed up at Robert Toombs. And when we finished on that Thursday, I think we had made huge strides. We went against them offensively we had a couple opportunities to score. We had guys, we missed a couple balls here and there, or we scored maybe 14, 21 points in our little segment of plays. I think Robert Toombs scored once on us in there, but they had double plays on offense. So what I saw out of us defensively that day is we had been taking on a team that was, when we first got there, physically superior to us. I mean, they have great athletes. They've got big linemen. They've got 30-something kids, so they had enough depth to roll in. And what I saw with our kids on the last day, which was probably that Thursday afternoon, might have been the most miserable day we had at camp. It rained about 10 minutes before we went out to scrimmage, and then the sun came out, and it was like a sauna. And I saw our kids that went out there and played. You know, we had 3 or 4 guys that were nicked up and beat up, and at one point I was asking them, you know, I said, y'all all right? And they're like, yeah. And they just kept going back in. They wouldn't come out, you know, and that's a lot of heart. That's a lot of guts, you know. So from assessing that, Robert Toombs, I thought we made huge strides. And then we came back home, we practiced, and we went up to Hilton Head, but at that point we had 4 starters out on both sides of the ball. And it's tough to assess in X's and O's what you're getting, but attitude and effort-wise, I would have to say they did a great job. They had a little bit of a lull right off the bat with Memorial. Sometimes we get psyched out a little bit mentally at times and call timeout. And I just, you know, I reminded them, guys, it's all about your attitude and effort. Control what you can control. Play hard. Do the little things. I say that all the time to them. I'm sure they're tired of hearing me say that. Tuck your shirt in. Do the little bitty things. Every single day is going to make you a better person. Keep your locker cleaned up. They hate me for making them keep their lockers cleaned up, things like that. But we're going to change the culture, and this group right here has took a major step to doing that and creating a foundation for a football program.
Yeah, and just around school, I mean, what do you see as far as the excitement for this season? I mean, you're a coach and a teacher, so what do you teach?
Well, yesterday the middle school was pretty lively little hall there. They were pretty fired up about going out and playing, and I see right now everybody's getting excited. It's football season. It's not just football season at Frederica, but it's football season in the whole South.
Right.
And we live for football in the South. You know, we might not be good at very much, but we're going to be a national champion in the South. It's going to be below the Mason-Dixon line down here. Yeah. And somebody's going to own it down here. And that's one of the things, when you look around here, everybody's a football fan down here. I mean, it's amazing. You can go anywhere in any small town and any big town, and they're going to be playing football in the South. And so I'm excited. I know the kids are. And you know, as you walk through, I want to keep generating excitement. I see the lower school. I try to go down and see them as much as possible, those 5th graders, 4th graders, and get them excited because they're going to feed us as we go.
Yeah, I know that you incorporate the middle schoolers in just about everything you do with the varsity, and I know that they appreciate that a lot and makes them excited to want to be a part of it. But this has been the Coach Brandon Derrick Show. Thanks for joining us for the Frederica Academy Coaches Show. Here with Coach Brandon Derrick on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Come out to Catch 228 in Redford Village on St. Simon's and join us every Thursday night, same time at 6:30 for the Coach Brandon Derrick Show. I'm John Wetzler signing off. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
I didn't accidentally cuss or anything. So.
Okay, so we're going to hit stop. I'll let you kind of do it so you'll get familiar.